this video, we're going to learn how to do a long tail cast on for a knitting project. A long tail cast on involves taking a long tail and using that as the base for casting on your stitches. Now, how long a tail do you need is a good question. A good rule of thumb is about 3 times the length of the edge that you're creating. So if you're creating a 10-inch edge in your knitting, you will want a tail of about 30 inches to start with. The most dreadful thing with the long tail cast on is to end up with too short a tail and have to pull it out and start over. So I'm always a little conservative and I always give myself a little more than I need. Now to start the long tail cast on, I'm just going to cast on about 8 or 10 stitches. So I just have a pretty short long tail here. You need 1 knitting needle and you need your working yarn. I made a slip knot in my yarn and I'm going to put that on my 1 knitting needle. I'm going to get that kind of tight so it's, on the needle well. And then I'm going to get my yarn positioned in my hand. Okay, so I'm holding the knitting needle in my right hand. I'm going to take my left thumb and first finger. I'm going to put them between the tail and the working yarn. Now, if you look here, this is the tail that is over my thumb. This is the working yarn that is over my finger. And then I'm going to grab those 2 yarns underneath with my pinky and ring finger. And I'm going to move my thumb and my first finger out so that I'm creating this kind of triangle. And again, it's my tail that's in front and my working yarn that's in back. Now, I'm going to do a fairly simple motion. It'll take a little bit of time to get this down, but once you do, it'll make perfect sense and it'll become almost second nature. So I'm going to take this needle in my right hand and I'm going to pull it all the way forward in front of this tail yarn, okay? And I'm going to go up from underneath and in front of that tail, up by my thumb into this loop that I've created, okay? And then I'm going to go around the working yarn and pull it through that loop, okay? Now I've put the working yarn in a loop on my knitting needle. That's going to become my stitch. And I'm going to let go with my thumb and I'm going to pull back out on the tail to tighten down that base for the stitch that I've just created with that tail. Okay, let's look at that again. We're going to go underneath and in front of this tail and up by my thumb into this loop that I've created. I'm going to go around that working yarn and grab it and pull it through that loop. And then I'm going to let go with my thumb and pull back out on the tail to tighten down the base on that stitch. Okay, I'm just going to do a few more for you kind of in slow motion. And there you have it. That is the long tail cast on method in knitting. You can see the edge that gives. It gives you a nice edge to your work.